Hello, 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 hello. Oh, beautiful.
All right, we're solid, bro. Anyway, you were telling me about this jiu-jitsu Karen.
Yeah, the one. Have you seen the video where she's what is it, rolling? Well, she's in it's a competition and she's rolling with like a 15-year-old or something.
Yeah.
And the 15-year-old puts her into an arm triangle and like she taps out.
Yeah.
And then she like I don't know. Is it like bad jiu-jitsu etiquette to put your hand in someone's face?
Not really. You do dirty shit in competition. Like that's normal. Yeah. You just can't fish hook. You can't eye gouge. That kind of shit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, like she apparently she was putting her hand in her face, but then like because of that, her arm got trapped and she got tapped out.
But isn't that her fault?
It is. But then she got up. She's like, when I tap, you have to let go. When I tap, you have to let go. And then she let go. By the way, the kid let go straight away.
Yeah.
And then the kid looked at her. She's like, but I did. She's like, no, like you have to learn to tap. Like when someone taps, you have to let go.
Yeah. She was
like,
tient to teach him.
Yeah. It was like the kid was like half her age. And just like super jujitsu Karen.
Yeah.
Cringe.
Why are there so many Karens, bro? Like, I go through life thinking it's hard enough keeping my shit together. Like, imagine trying to patrol other people keeping the rules, you know what I mean? Like, how can you be bothered? It's just like the level of commitment you have to try and regulate rules that no one else is like really... You know, it's like, it's just... police are paid to do that, you know? Why would you do that out of your own volition? Do you enjoy it? Like,
I think
it's
like,
a power trip, right?
Yeah, it's for sure a power trip.
Yeah.
You only do that if... I think you only do that if one, for a large portion of your life, you had that...
Being oppressed.
You had either like, you know, actual or perceived like oppression. Like someone had put rules on you and enforced them on you in an unfair or like unkind way.
You think it's like a self-esteem thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Or you like maybe like related to that, you don't have any sense of control or power in your own life. So you seek to put it onto others because you're sad.
It just seems like it's so prevalent nowadays. So it must be linked to some kind of, I don't know. It's hard to say, but like, it's just frustrating for me because now I have to, it's like it's not because you're scared of Karens, it's because they're annoying that you avoid it. Like there's a Korean saying, it's like, you don't avoid shit because you're scared of shit. You avoid shit because it's gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like actual
like
feces shit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh,
like it's not clean.
It's not clean. Yeah. You just don't want to get shit on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not because you're scared of shit.
Thing.
Like that's what I think about Karens. I'm like, bro, it's just not worth it. Like I was, you know, during the vaccination period when everything was like COVID crazy. Yeah. And,
but you would have seen so much. Did you see anything weird?
Oh, dude, so many fucking weirdos. They had everyone around here. Like I saw all the types of people. And one time I went downstairs and there's a playground right at the side of the vaccination center and the gyms were closed. So I just want to do a couple pull-ups. And
this is the place that we went to when...
Yeah.
As in just up the road there.
Just up the road.
With like the machines and the battle ropes and all that.
Oh, no, not that. There's another side. That's in Bicentennial.
Okay.
They had a period when there's another one right outside the vaccination center.
No, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, the battle ropes.
Yeah, there's battle ropes.
That's
right.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I went there and they hadn't closed it off yet. It was like second day of COVID.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like... Not second day, but it was like since the vaccinations were out. It would have been sometime on the second day of like the vaccination center. So they hadn't closed that area yet. So I went down just to thinking I was going to train because I train every other time when there weren't anyone there. Well, there wasn't anyone there.
Yeah.
I did. I was probably like in my second set of pull-ups, and I knew that someone was going to say something because there were so many people. Out of that population, within 5 minutes, a fat fucking Karen with like huge Dr. Dre, and I haven't seen Beats by Dre headphones in like 5 years. Like, where are you getting them now? She comes over,
what the fuck?
And I've got AirPods in, and I just hear her mouth moving and like looking super annoying.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, because there was like a tiny paper sign going, playgrounds are closed.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you can't be here, mate. You know, people who say mate like 14 times.
Yeah.
You're not my mate.
Passive aggressive.
Yeah. She said mate like 5 times. And I was like, oh, dude. And after that, she was like, you can't be working out here. And I was like, yeah. She's like, look at the signs. And I'm like, yes, I'm aware. I can read. And then she was like, speaking on the phone to someone at the same time. And then she was bragging about it. She's like, I'm just telling off this guy who's trying to work out. He's trying to give us COVID. And like, what the shit?
No way.
Yeah, on the phone. And then I was just like, fuck it. I'm just not worth it. And I just started walking away without even saying anything to her. But I was just like, dude, like we're all going through rough times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just doing what I can to stay sane.
Yeah.
Can you not see that?
Yeah.
Like, no one, like if no one else, it's my risk. It's a risk I'm taking.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get what the point is. What value does it add? It's just time you're taking away from getting better.
It goes back to that. Like, I bet she felt great the rest of the day. Like, I stood up to this big fucking this gym guy.
She was a vigilante.
Yeah.
She's essentially Spider-Man, bro.
What do you think? People love Marvel movies and shit so much now, bro. Everyone wants to be a superhero, bro. I saved us from COVID. I saved everyone in that vicinity. I mean, that guy, he could have been infected.
Yeah.
He could have changed our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you villainize everyone who's not sticking to the rules that have been made up.
You know, it would have been better if you just stayed away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're even saying like, did you see that paper that was published by those 3 economists, who are pretty good credentials? They're economists, but they're saying that lockdowns didn't have any impact on actual infection rate deaths.
Really?
Yeah. They're
Surely
saying
not.
it had a 0.25% effectiveness, other than closing down bars. Like closing down non-essential businesses was effective, but lockdowns, like hard lockdowns, people like not being able to move and quarantining and all that stuff didn't actually help.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually negative impacts because you don't take into account economic factors like suicide rates, depression, shit like that.
Shit,
Yeah.
I mean, hindsight's 20/20, I think.
Yeah, we have the data now, but like if we go into lockdown again, then I'm going to be like, bro, what are you doing?
Well, that's the thing. Like, what if it like, I was talking to someone about this yesterday. It's not a linear progression of this disease as far as we know. So like so far we've been lucky. It went something a little worse and then it's gone something that's more or less better in the bigger picture things. Like,
are you talking about Omicron?
Omicron is
versus
less
Delta.
Versus Delta, where it's like not as lethal, but more virulent.
Virulent.
Infectious. And it's, you know, allowed more people to get inoculated without having to go through really bad symptoms. Most people.
Yeah. It's not.
But what if it gets like fucking 50 times worse with the next strain?
Yeah, but the thing is, that's what happened with SARS, right? And the reason SARS didn't spread was because it was killing all its hosts. So it's actually inversely related, like how the mortality rate versus the infection rate. Because
was SARS as virulent?
SARS was, I think it had like a similar infection rate, but because it kept killing people, like the host can no longer.
Right. So they just like, instead of people just fucking walking around with it, they would be in hospital or in their house not being able to breathe.
Yeah, exactly.
So there'd be less likelihood of them actually going out and spreading it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's true.
So I think it's almost self-limiting, which is everything, bro. Like animal populations are self-limiting. Like they get to a certain point, they just don't grow. Yeah, and everything. Like I think the world has been, like, I won't say designed because then it's like a God conversation, but you know, there are there's many
checks and balances in there. Yeah, no, I agree.
So many ways. Like homeostasis is achieved all the time.
I was talking about this with someone else actually in the Trash Village podcast, where it's like, no, you're right. No, go first. Like homosexuality. What if that's like a population response, right, to the overpopulation of the Earth? Yeah. So, you know, it's a theory, a controversial theory, but I mean, why not? Like, it would make sense.
It would make sense. Yeah. It would make sense. And like there are animals like that as well. Like literally, I think it's a mechanism for them to survive though is where they change sexes, like some kind of fucking amphibian. If there's not enough males or females in the population, it will just change sexes and it'll fuck other males.
Yeah. And then it joins the animal's LGBTQI.
Yeah.
Starts adding.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like the Caitlins.
They
become
them.
They, them, Z's, Zoes, whatever the fuck it is, bro. They start making
them.
pronouns. Yeah, they give you a tabular chart of like what the genders are.
Yeah. They become
man.
celebrated by the axolotl community. Whatever it
is. Straight out, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so weird. I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, our society has become a society where there's no feedback. There's like no feedback loop on a lot of things. Like social media has prevented feedback.
Yeah, you can't. You can't dislike YouTube videos anymore.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Wild. You can't. I don't think you can dislike comments.
You can dislike. Twitter brought in dislikes. You can dislike on Twitter now, but you can't dislike on YouTube, and you can't. Yeah, you can't dislike comments.
Yeah,
which is equally stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
You can report comments, but you can't dislike them.
Yeah.
So
there's only...
there's no democracy.
Yeah.
There's no there's no proper feedback
loop.
Yeah,
there's no feedback loop. Yeah,
it's fucking stupid.
And you say anything, you can say anything to anyone without having, like, even the basic feedback loop of saying something disgusting to someone. I remember when we were growing up, it was interesting because we had both, right? We had Facebook, but we also had to see that person at high school if we said something on Facebook. So we had this weird thing where there were internet trolls, but the internet trolls would come to school and get bashed.
Yeah.
Like there was a period like that. You remember that?
Like you talk shit online, like, cuz meet me at skate park 3 p.m.
Exactly.
You're going to pay for what you said.
Exactly.
I'm going to make you get on your knees and apologize.
and lick my shoe, bro. That was a thing back in the day. Get on your knees was a thing.
It's still today, bro.
Get on your knees?
Yeah.
Is it?
I told you what happened, right?
Oh, yeah.
It still happens. I mean,
but that he's from our generation, right?
Maybe a little bit younger, but still like...
Okay.
I mean, the thing is that didn't actually play out in reality. But I mean, I'm sure like... I'm sure like there's kids out there still today, like they'll talk some shit and then like,
Yeah.
So, one of the more bold kids will be like, what happens to you, cuz like... Tomorrow. Don't come to school tomorrow.
Yeah. Don't come to school tomorrow. Do you think they do that? I don't think they do that.
For sure.
Bro, I think violence is not as prevalent as it used to be because it used to be way more prevalent. Like it used to be kind of normal for...
As if, man. I heard about like the other day, like at like Glenwood High.
Yeah.
There was like some Sikh kid and he was like getting bullied by like some white kid at the school, right? And he so Sikhs carry like a little blade. It's I'm not going to remember the name.
Is this a tradition thing?
It's a traditional thing. So they have to have like, I think 3 things. One of them is like
the bracelet.
Like bracelet bangle type thing on their wrist.
I have seen that.
And then there's the turban and then there's this blade. Knife. And the blade they carry usually by like a chain over their shoulder under the shirt.
Really? This sounds like some
No.
Ali and what's the Ali?
Alibaba.
Alibaba.
And,
not Alibaba.
It is.
Is it Alibaba?
Yeah.
And the 40 days and 40 nights. No. What is it? The fucking...
Alakazam.
Alakazam. Ali... You know what I mean.
It's Alibaba. Yeah. No,
is it Alibaba that find...
Wait. It's
But I'm getting confused because I feel like that Disney movie was based on it as well.
Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Yeah. No. But it's the actual story is called
Alibaba and the
40 days.
Bro, I'm just gonna Google it.
40 days and 40 nights.
That's what I thought, but that sounds like Jesus, bro.
Agrabah.
Alibaba. Oh no! Now I'm getting the fucking.
Yeah, you're gonna get some drop shipping adverts.
Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
Oh, 40 Thieves.
Yeah.
40 Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one with Aladdin, right?
Mm-hmm. Pretty sure, because that's the one where he stands at the front of the entrance and goes,
Open Sesame.
Open Sesame, yeah.
Anyway, so the kid goes to like one of the older kids in the school and he's like, oh, like, this kid is making fun of me for like my turban or something.
Yeah.
What should I do? And he's like, yeah, just go bash him. So the kid goes to the kid. He pulls out. He unsheathes.
Wait, who said who
some like older, some year 12 kid. He was like a year 7 or 8 kid.
Okay.
He unsheathes the knife and then he stabs him. He stabs the kid multiple times.
What?
Yeah. The kid goes to hospital, and then like the next day, like Gladys Berejiklian's like, we have to impose a regulation. I mean, this just doesn't pass the common sense rule. No child should be bringing a knife to school under any circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the whole community had to get up and be like, no, like
this is
sacred to our religion, and you can't do that. They did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're still allowed to bring them.
Okay, so we still stand for something. Because if it was America, we'd have metal
Yeah,
detectors
yeah,
installed.
yeah. I was playing basketball one time, and I went to like chase down a guy in transition.
Yeah.
And like I like ran into him.
Yeah.
And the knife fell out. The blade fell out. Yeah,
well,
I was playing, and he was
basketball.
playing basketball with it,
Yeah.
and then they make you take everything off. Like, you know, you like take that, they're taking your watch off and your jewelry,
You can't even have
earrings,
pockets.
rings. You can't have shit. Yeah, you can't have pockets.
Yeah.
And the guy's just carrying a knife with him. And then,
wait, did he have the thing that carries the knife as well? Though.
Oh, okay. He had everything.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. And the ref's like, "The hell is that?" And it's like literally like it's like a blade on the ground.
How long is the blade though? It's like a small blade.
It's not that long. It's not probably.
Oh, that's pretty long.
Yeah, I mean it's not like that. It's not like It's like it's like the size of like a small knife, and then and the ref's like, "Yeah, you got to put that away." And then like his whole team runs in. He's like, "No, it's sacred, it's sacred. You can't do that. You can't do that." And he's like, "I'm like, I can't do that." I'm like, he's like, "Well, you can't play if you can't." He's like, "Okay, fine." And he takes it off and he puts it down on the ref's table. Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, and I was like,
they take
crap.
it serious, but less serious than basketball.
Yeah, basketball
Prioritize above all.
Got to get them buckets. Yeah, I didn't know that. It was
that's
nuts.
so interesting, bro.
Yeah, don't mess with Sikhs, bro.
Yeah, hard.
They keep that thing on them.
Yeah, hard. Next time you see a dude with a turban, bro, fuck, you better be ready.
Yeah,
he unsheathed it as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How fucking dangerous does that sound? Unsheathing a blade.
I think you're right though. Just in regards to just like respect between people, maybe to an extent. Because bro, like I remember in school, like way back when, like any kid with a turban, like dude, they would get fucking bullied. Like people would come up and like rip their turban out and shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that happen with my own eyes at primary school and high school as well. Maybe not in high school, but in primary school definitely. Like there was like little kids with turbans and like fucking white kids would come like, "Oh look, he's got a turban," and like they'd fucking try and rip it out and shit, bro.
Yeah.
And I think about that now, like, you would never see that
now.
happen now, bro.
No.
Yeah. But
So
if
anything, I might be wrong. It might be the opposite. People get too much feedback now.
Yeah.
In some instances.
They get too much feedback and they're scared. Yeah.
To act out of the ordinary. Like, it's so much easier to target people now.
Yeah.
And like, you know, what is that, straw man? Like even Joe Rogan, what are they doing? They're attacking his character.
Yeah.
But really, he provides a platform. He provides a platform for alternative views.
Yeah.
But they're attacking the man.
Yeah.
So like,
that's what they do, bro.
Sense.
That's what the whole woke culture is, man. Yeah, you attack
that cancel culture,
the character of the person instead of the actual thing.
It doesn't make sense when you start personalizing everything.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And
I just want to like, man, there are some people who I wish we had a system, and I think we will eventually get to a point where technology assigns a certain priority to people's voices. And like, I know they're trying to do that in China with the credit system and all that. It's not a good thing, but I think it has its place. Yeah. Because some people should not have a voice. Not everyone should get an equal vote.
No. I mean, I think people are scared of the social credit system because as much as it can be used as a tool for accountability, it can also be used as a tool for like mass control.
Yeah.
And that's where I think China is leading from.
Yeah.
Generally, like that's how they sort of operate,
so authoritarian, right? Yeah.
That's how they operate. So that's why people are like, wait, hold on a minute.
Exactly. So if it was...
there's social credit here right now. It's not as... it's not as obvious.
Yeah.
But it's there. Like you have your... Like if you're a fucking weirdo with no, you know...
Yeah, you're not going to get far.
If you've got no good credit, if you don't have good credit, if you don't have good work
history.
The
social credit system has been around for millennia. Let's be real.
Yeah. It's just that they're quantifying it now and they're centralizing it, which people don't like.
Yeah.
But it's always been around. It shouldn't be centralized. There shouldn't be one. I mean, it's the same thing with social media. Like social media shouldn't be so centralized. Yeah. Like, there's like two people and that's all the social media you get.
Yeah.
That you'd have any options.
100%. Yeah. And it shouldn't be that one person or two people or an organization gets to decide who says anything.
Yeah.
Like you can't deplatform people. Yeah, like that defeats the whole purpose of
what's
social media.
What do you think is going through the head of Spotify right now?
Like Spotify,
like the CEO.
Okay. I think it's always hard to, like, from a business perspective, to align your commercial interests with your value system. Like, that's always something that's going to continue to plague you all the time. Because as a person, you're like, I think the CEO is probably thinking, bro, Joe Rogan's in the right here. Like, this is stupid. But then from a commercial point of view, you're like, man, like, you know, I know it's one or two artists now, but what is the potential fallout from this?
Yeah.
You know, what is the actual, like, I care about the platform and Spotify. I kind of believe in what I do, but my day-to-day tasks don't really reflect that. I don't give a fuck. You know how it is to work at a company. Your day-to-day task as a CEO would be responding to shareholders, responding to stakeholders, responding to the community, checking your user base, shit like that. That's like you're focused on the step ahead. You're not focused on the vision of the company. Like even as a CEO, I don't think, I think you're just like, are we making profits? Are we going to make more money next year? Like, are we tracking on, like, what are we tracking to become?
But do you think that this whole situation as it's played out with Rogan is positive, net positive or net negative for Spotify?
I think it's positive. I think the decision that they made was the right decision, at least at this point, with the amount of information that they have.
Yeah.
And I think that Joe Rogan came out and made that easy for them.
Yeah.
Because he admitted he made a mistake. And like the thing is, from my perspective, he didn't make a mistake because people should be able to critically think about what they take in.
100%.
And that's a skill in the, you know, today's society. Being able to register whether something is credible information or should be discredited.
Exactly.
You should be able to make that decision on your own.
Yeah.
If you're too stupid or too lazy to go and research it yourself, then I feel like the fault is on you. Yeah. If you don't want to get vaccinated because one dude came onto Joe Rogan's podcast and said, yeah, we don't really know about vaccination. Didn't even say don't get vaccinated. Said we don't really know what these vaccines do and alludes to something a bit more sinister. And you take that and go, I'm not going to get vaccinated. You get COVID and you die. I think it's on you.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what happened to real, like, personal accountability? I think where people get so frightened about this is that argument like, oh, but that person could spread it to someone else. Yeah. And that someone, I'm like, okay, well, if you trust the vaccine so much, then it should protect you, right? And if this person chooses not to get it, then they're not protected. I mean, you still could get it no matter what. And Australia, you've seen so many people are getting it. They're full vaccinated.
You're running the risk of getting it every day.
Yeah. I will say though that like, I don't know how. So like, what happens to Rogan if it does start becoming net negative for Spotify?
As a net negative profit wise?
Yeah, like say they start losing artists or their share price starts tanking.
Yeah.
Because they chose to stand behind him.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what? Do you think they'll cave? And be like, you know what?
I don't know if they view it as like, I don't know if they make the like quantitative decision and go, okay, with cash that we care about, then yeah. If they make the decision based on brand, then it's up in the air. Yeah. Like, let's go. Because brand is like something that you can't quantify. If you go, actually, Spotify stood by this guy because, you know, he was exercising his right for free speech. You know, that becomes the kind of media popular kind of narrative. Yeah. Then I think it's net positive no matter what, man. Because think about why, you know, Joe Rogan was persecuted for this. Because people are looking at him as a source of news. Because all the other credible sources are no longer credible. Yeah. Like Sky News, fucking everything, even BBC. Yeah. Everything is kind of... Like it's
BBC is a sad one as a tangent.
BBC is okay.
Because I mean it's a sad one because they used to be better. They used to be very, very.
It is a sad one.
It seemed to be quite neutral. I would always trust BBC, but now it's not as bad as the others. Like it's not as like fear porny / clickbaity. But also you've seen that it's gone a little bit down the slippery slope.
It's definitely gone down it. But like the thing is, commercially they have no choice.
Yeah, like they can't compete.
Yeah. Like media is. You try to... What is clickbait? Clickbait is trying to emote someone, right? Like make them spring into like an emotive state. And that's how you like... You see a tagline and you want to click it because you feel something. Yeah. You know? So I don't think they have a choice, whereas this long form media of like podcasts this is where you get to really know people, and this is where you really get to know what people are thinking.
Explore real ideas.
Yeah.
Instead of a 5-minute story, and it's a new story every day. Yeah.
And then
that's true.
Like, think about even the way I see it is it's so interesting because Alex Jones, I've known about him for years, but until he got onto the Joe Rogan podcast, I thought he was like just a maniac.
Yeah.
Gets onto Joe Rogan podcast, and I'm like, this guy's really smart in his own way. He's very, very smart.
Yeah.
But he's just like, in some aspects,
he's eccentric.
Yeah, he's eccentric, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's funneled all his energy into a certain topic.
Yeah.
And I guess he would say extreme things because no one's listening to him.
Yeah.
You know, but he gets on this long form piece of media, and you get to know, that's why he says things. He's
very self-aware as well. That's the thing I think people don't think about.
Exactly.
Him. Yeah, he's not like just some freak that's just saying shit for the sake of saying it.
Yeah.
Like, he knows that what he's saying is crazy, and because of that, I think he's very defensive. Not defensive, but like, I think he puts up this, like, you know, like, everyone's against me type front. But I think a lot of people, like, it's with reason.
With reason, yeah. And the thing is, because he's so self-aware, he self-moderates a lot of the shit he says, and he knows it has an impact. Yeah. So he doesn't say a lot of the shit. Like, think about all the shit he doesn't say. Yeah. You know, he's trying his best to moderate what he says. Yeah. So it's somewhat already filtered and kind of credible when it comes out of his mouth. And then you realize that when you watch him when he's talking for 3 hours, as opposed to when someone's talking for a minute, or someone writes about someone and just shows a tagline. Like, I'm sure there are millions of people out there that think Joe Rogan really fucked up somehow because they read, you know, a Facebook post. They read something like, you know, it's just ridiculous to me. It's just stupid when, you know, if you don't want to listen to the whole story, don't listen to, like, even a part of it, is my view. Or don't make a judgment before you listen to the whole story.
No one has listened to that episode. Yeah. Like, no one has actually... I feel like the very few people have actually sat there and dissected what's happening. Did you see Adesanya at the presser today?
Something about Joe Rogan's the best. I stand by him or something.
Yeah, he's like, Joe Rogan's my N-word.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, keep doing you, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to see that a lot of people are standing by him.
100%, bro.
I love Adesanya. Yeah. But I think Rogan's uncancelable. Like, people just... You think he can get cancelled? I mean, if he did something...
No, I agree with you.
Oh, yeah. No, I think, like, if he did something really heinous, of course, people would. Yeah. But he's not going to fall into that cancel where you're like... The whole cancel thing only works, I think, if you inherently have quite low value to society.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that Joe Rogan, it's not that... the reason he's uncancelable is not because I think everyone's listening to him, but I think it's because he's captured the ears of a single generation, at least, which is the millennials. For sure. Every millennial I speak to listens to Joe Rogan in one form or another.
And he's one of the most truthful people. Like, one of the only trustworthy, genuine people that you actually can sense his energy. And he's humble enough to always, like, you know, preface the things he says with, like,
yeah, I don't know.
Sure. Do your own research. What I like doing is asking people questions.
Yeah.
And then trying to figure stuff out.
Exactly.
And you should want the same thing.
Yeah. And I was talking about this.
Who the fuck says that? Everyone's like, just listen to me. I'm fucking right. Yeah. I know everything.
So true, bro. Yeah. So true.
That's what we're fed. But it's different.
People only like these. I was talking to a mate. He's like, no, I wasn't talking to a mate. I actually went to a chiro for the first time a couple of weeks ago. And the chiro was kind of testing. Like, I had a problem with my neck. And I don't know if you've been to a chiro, but like, it's not.
But I kind of want to.
Yeah, it's not magic like I thought it was. I thought they were going to fucking do an adjustment, go, and I'd be back into shape and have perfect posture. Yeah. I'd come out like 7 centimeters taller or some shit, and then, bro, I got shorter. Anyway, I went in, and the guy started massaging my neck, and then he's like telling me to look up and down because I have this neck problem, and he's like, so do you feel pain now? And I was always taking like a couple seconds to register and say, like, no, yes. And I was thinking about it, right? And he was like, I like that you actually like do an analysis before you provide a response. Yeah. Before you tell me what kind of condition you're in. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't really think of it that way. And he was like, yeah, usually people only take a break or a pause to get ready for the next thing they're about to say. Yeah. And I was like, man, that's pretty insightful. Like, because it's so true. When I speak to people, it seems like they're always just getting ready to say something that would seemingly be, something in response to what I say.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's just something they're already thinking that they wanted to get out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, why?
They're not actively listening.
No, exactly.
I think it's a problem. I don't know if this is like a modern day problem or whatever, and I think it could be because we're just blasted with so much stuff every day. People don't know how to slow down their minds now and just listen. Like, I feel a lot of people's minds are going a million miles a minute.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to like just chill out. Not everyone though. Like a lot of people know. You know when people ask you real questions while you're speaking to them, they're
Yeah. And it's so
I think like active listening is pretty important. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
People think that building relationships is like sharing enough words in a conversation. I think you can be completely mute and build a really good relationship with someone.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But there should be give and take, and
that's the hard part. Yeah. I think that's the hard part. Yeah. To feel like you can listen without being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, so true, bro.
You have to learn to like listening. Like you have to like have that mentality, I think, of like whatever this person's saying, I
have something to learn from it.
Yeah, I can learn something from this or and even deeper than that, like this person is,
valuable.
Valuable and has seen things that I haven't seen and done things that they're thinking in a completely different way to I'm thinking, and because of that, I should listen. Yeah,
man. Like I think about when I listen to people now, and like it could be someone that I don't really know that well. Like something that Joe Rogan said to me stuck with me, and it was like when I had kids, I didn't realize like it changed my whole perspective of things, and he articulated this so well, and it just stuck with me. He's like, before I had kids, I only saw a snapshot of a person when I met them. Like I met you, M, 27 years old, sorry. And, tall, educated, a good speaker. That's the person I met. But then he goes to say, after I had kids, I realized, oh, actually, that M used to be, a child that grew, that went through all these different things, that went through hardships, that went through good things, that, won an award at school and then moved on to this, and then you get to know this person and you imagine that person. And then he didn't explain the rest of it, but then when you imagine someone growing up, from my perspective, I start to like feel a love towards them, love thy neighbor kind of thing. And as I get older, I'm realizing more and more, when I'm listening to someone, I am expressing my love for them. You know what I mean? And then, like, it's not love in like, oh, I want to be with you all the time. I want to be a friend. I want to be part of your life. None of that. It's like in this moment right now when I'm speaking to you, I love you.
Yeah.
I want to know more about you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like kinship. Yeah. It's like a love of kinship.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a love deep, of man. That's deep. Well, I think that's like also speaks to like, like your inner child.
Yes.
Your own inner child.
Yes.
Like at some point you didn't have all these barriers between you communicating with someone else. You would just speak to fucking people. Like you wouldn't even think about it. You just speak to someone like, oh,
so
you're from
true.
Here, and you did this. Like, oh, what school do you go to? Oh, dude, I like that school. Like, oh, do you like Power Rangers? Like, oh yeah, I love Power Rangers. And it's like, oh shit.
Yes.
At a certain point, that gets fucking like.
So it's destroyed.
Not even destroyed, but like you like okay. So at a certain point, it gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Right, because like a friend breaks your trust or something happens.
Yeah.
Certain things happen in your life that
the edges get chopped off.
Yeah, slowly like insulate you from like, and then you're like, okay, I can't do that anymore because when I did that, like that was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. You know what I mean? Like that was really hurtful. And you slowly build up these walls and walls and walls, and then you have. You as a person communicating with another, like, especially when you're an adult, you're like, here's another person.
Through layers, yeah.
And then there's like a period in between when you're like adolescent, when you're sort of like, I don't know how to I don't know what to do. Like, do I trust you? Do I not trust you? Like, do I show you all of me? So you try to act like you're cool and shit. Like, like, I know this, I know that. Like, you know, you put on a front, and then like you grow out of that and you're like, no, I'm an adult. I need to be able to communicate as an adult, which is like fucking sort of cold and emotionless.
Yes. Apathetic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, like that's an important thing to bring it back to, is like, just remember, like, this person was
a child.
And
they have an inner child now. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true, man. That's why I feel like sometimes I just like I used to be scared of, like, I really don't like touching people, you know, like it's something like that. But I think it's because of that inner child thing, because for me, physical touch is what I used to do as a kid. I used to go up to people, hug people randomly, high five people randomly, you know what I mean? And do that stuff. And then slowly that started being like unacceptable behavior as you get older.
Yeah.
And you know, that reminds me of it, like when I was going down, the lift with my mate, Maddie, right? We were going to go uni fishing. And he like had his knife on his belt and shit like that, and walked down. We're going down the lift, and this little girl gets on with her dad, and her dad is like the standard, like gives you a nod and then kind of stands in the very corner of the elevator. And the little girl comes up to us and like touches the belt on Maddie and goes, "Oh, what's that for?" And Maddie starts explaining, "Oh, this is a knife that we're going to go fishing with, this, that."
Yeah.
But when I saw that interaction, I wasn't just impressed with the child. I was like impressed with the child, but like I was impressed with Maddie, man. I was like, dude, this guy is so comfortable with who he is that he can go and talk to a child like she's an adult. He talks to her the same way he talks to adults. And he didn't like dumb it down. He didn't feel like that. He was just like making another friend. You know? And I was like, wow, that's real maturity. Even though like other things in his life are different to ours, like I shouldn't judge that. Because I'm like what you just said, like being an adult is learning to communicate in like a cold, without offending someone, very Wheat Bix, plain flavored way, right? Yeah. But I think there's a level above that, where you can do both, where you can not get burnt, but you can still have free-flowing conversation.
100%. I agree. I think that it's really important to try and cultivate that, but it's really difficult to.
Yeah.
So I think it's rare. Man. I think it's rare that you, like, for example, Maddie, like, I think it's a very admirable and rare trait where someone can just open themselves up like that.
Exactly.
There's a few special people out there. I know that other people like that as well. That you know, when a child comes to them, or not only a child, but like, you know,
anyone, like a
junkie, or like a grandma or whatever it might be. Like they're able to,
any age, any kind of demographic,
they're able to do it. Yeah.
Because there's a universal way of like how humans are. We're like 99% similar, bro. Yeah. No matter what. No matter like what the genetic makeup is and what we do, what language you speak, everything's like, we all communicate in such a similar way. Yeah. We should be able to do that. And sometimes I judge myself for not being able to do that. Like, and I know it's because of my own insecurities. Yeah. You know, definitely overthinking situations. But like, man, the world as it is doesn't help. Like from my perspective, you know what I mean? Yeah. But what can you do? Yeah. What can you do, bro? It's and that's what I don't like about this COVID period, man, because I feel like so many people are missing out on that aspect.
I was listening to something the other day about like kids during COVID. Do you want another one? I was listening to something about kids during COVID and how like they have like a very stunted, like, think about it, bro. It's been like 2.5 years of this. Yeah. I can't imagine going through something like this when I was like fucking 15.
No fucking way.
Would have been a nervous wreck. Yeah. 1. 2, like I didn't get to see my friends and all I fucking did was play video games, which I did a lot of anyway. But if I had literally like
nothing else to
do. Yeah. I played fucking like 60 to 70 hours a fortnight. Because like Steam would track it, right? Yeah. So it would be like between like 50 to like 70. Yeah. Which is a fuckload, right?
That's
like
a lot.
That's like what? Like
that's a full
4 hours a day?
It's a part-time job.
Yeah, like
more than a
part-time job.
Yeah.
And I went to school. I hung out with my friends. So in all that free time, I still managed to do that. So I'm just thinking like, dude, if I didn't have to go to school, if I was just at home and there was literally nothing else I could do, I couldn't go to the fucking park. I couldn't go to the movies. I couldn't go to the ice skating rink, bowling, no activities, no school sport, nothing. That would have fucked me up, man.
Yeah.
That would like, and I look at like, I feel for these kids because like this is a shit go for them.
Yeah.
I really hope like a silver lining is like these kids somehow figured out like just how to be rich and just, or like some got like some fucking like Hawking level of intelligence from just having nothing to do but read and study or whatever, because like for the vast majority of kids, man, it would have been
lost time.
Shit.
Yeah.
It would have been so shit. I feel for them. And no one talked about that.
No.
No one has. I was listening about it. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
No one even has talked about the fact. Everyone was talking about parents. Oh, I got to give my kids homeschooling and all that shit. Like, what about your fucking kids?
Yeah.
They had all this time robbed.
Yeah.
They got to do fuck all for like, it's like basically like they were in a war.
Yeah.
They got to do fuck all for like 2.5 years. It's a bit better now, thankfully. Like here, I mean, at least things are opening up and they can go to school and whatever. But like, I was talking to my boss and his son is like 18 or 19. And he's like, yeah, he's been at uni, but he's like, he just feels like it's been like 2 years holiday because he hasn't gone to he hasn't been into campus like more than once. Yeah. All of his classes are online. All of his shoots are online.
Fuck.
Doesn't even feel like he's doing anything.
Yeah.
And he's just sort of there at home.
Dude, compare that to when we were getting railed at uni.
Bro.
Like O-Week at
You know
Macquarie.
what? The kid's probably better off.
Yeah.
There was a lot of brain cells lost.
100%, bro.
Yeah.
Those brain cells. Yeah. The thing is, when you party, the funny thing is you can't remember anything. Like, what's the fucking point? But you had such a good time. You know, you had a good time. How does that remain?
Yeah. I remember jumping a lot of fences.
Yeah.
I remember like distinctly jumping. I can remember the fences, but I can't remember what happened before or after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like going to an event. You know, you went to something, but I don't
remember anything.
Going
I remember
other than going there and coming back.
Yeah, and there was like blue lights at some point.
Could have been an alien abduction. Could have been anything, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks for these kids, man. I really fucking feel for them because it's a special time of your life. Like if I go look back at the high school years, I'm like, fuck. Every year felt like a millennia. And like you're like, oh my god, like year 8's finished. I got to go to year 9. Oh, year 9's finished. I got to go to year 10. And it's like every year is like, whoa, like so much happens in the year. Whereas now, like I'm like, I can't. It's starting to get to that stage. Yeah. Where I feel
it blurs together.
It blurs together.
Yeah, 100%.
Getting old.
Exactly. Yeah,
These last 3 years definitely blur it together.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember. Like between 20 and 21.
Yeah.
That's one long year.
Yeah.
And I don't remember a lot of
22.
22. I mean, 22's where we haven't seen that much so far, but also it's blurred in with 21.
I reckon 22 to 25 was a blur to me. Other than like the thing I mark it by and the.
Well, I'm talking about 2021.
2021.
Yeah, 20. Oh no. I mean 2020, 2021.
Yeah,
2022. Yeah. But also, 20 to 23 was also a bit of a blur.
Yeah. I remember 2021 when we first went into lockdown because that was a bit of a phenomena. And we were all like, oh, work from home. Everyone gets to work from home. Yeah. Oh, we hanging out.
Cool. Yeah.
And then like...
I'm asleep in
every
day.
It's a fucking Thursday night. I'm going to do Molly. Yeah. And then we'll see what happens. Yeah. We'll get fucked up.
I'm going to put my alarm for 9. Let's turn on Teams, then go back to sleep.
I'm going to download this new program that moves my mouse every 3 minutes.
Yes. You put her on the Roomba, the vacuum.
Yeah.
Moving around all day. You attach it to a fan or something.
Yeah, all these creative ideas
string
popping
to
up.
A fan and it's just moving it.
And these people are so proud they start posting it on Instagram and Facebook and you're like, you clowns. Dude, you have co-workers on there.
Man, that was the best.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
When it first happened, that was hectic. But then after that, you're right. It's a complete blur. But to be honest, I don't know, like, because I have nothing to compare it by, but like the previous years to that, I definitely have less memories, bro. Yeah. And because I have less memories, it feels like it's been a shorter time, but also longer. It's like, I feel old now. I genuinely just feel old. And I don't think we're supposed to be feeling like that at this age, bruv. Like, it's too...
It happened too fast, man.
Yeah, it happened too fast. Nah.
I feel that, man.
Yeah.
I thought it didn't happen too fast. I was like, bro, I did everything, like, you know? And then I now look back, I'm like, man...
Could have done way more.
Could have done way more, yeah. Could have done way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just rolling with it at the time. I was like, fuck it. Whatever.
Yeah, man.
It's time to slow down anyway. But now I look back, I'm like, man, you know, we could have done a fuckload more. And now...
Dude, I speak to people that are like
sort of forced into this
10, 20 years older than we are now. And, man, old people had some storied lives. Storied life, but I just don't know what it is. Like, it's either they, like, it's the adult thing where they just want to, they can't speak to you candidly. But it's not like, they can't tell stories in a way where I feel like excited by them. It's not like the past.
Here's my theory on that.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, bro. I don't think they speak like that to themselves anymore. Because if you speak like that to yourself, like if you're like, man, it's okay. So it could be two things. Because either you've said the same story so many times that it's just like it's boring now.
You remember you remember the memory. You remember telling it rather than remembering it.
And I think like ultimately you can't. The more you hang on to how great that was, I think the less fucking excited and passionate you are about your own life.
Yeah,
you're like,
today.
Fuck, this was my actual...
Yeah, I did this. Yeah, I did that. Who cares?
Yeah. Like, I think the more that you tell yourself that story, like, oh man, when I was 27, I fucking did this. Or maybe they just didn't have like as many options to do fun shit. Yeah. And their shit wasn't as crazy.
No, but I think they had like some crazy stories. Like when I speak to some of them, they're like, yeah, when I was, some of them are exciting, like, I guess, because I spoke to one guy and he was like, I was at work one day at my old work. And then, a bunch of my coworkers came to my desk, because we used to get our birthdays posted on like this, the newsletter, and it would come up on your email and it would say today's birthday is this, and someone noticed it was my birthday, came over and started singing happy birthday, and then like 6 people came over and started happy birthday, and I just ran out of the room because I was like, fuck these stupid cunts. Fuck you guys. I just sat in the toilet for 10 minutes and then I came out and I started making myself some cereal. I don't know why there was cereal everywhere. There's always cereal at workplaces. This guy comes over to me, he's like, oh, so how old are you turning? He's like 50. He has like 3 kids. And I'm like, oh, I'm turning 26. And he was like, oh, cool. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting old, right? And then he was like, what? When I was 26, I was starting my life, mate. And then he was like, my partner and I had just moved from Switzerland to Australia, and we were just starting all over again. Yeah. And I was like, oh, cool. And he was like, yeah, that's when I learned to skateboard. And I was like, what? And then he pulled out his phone and showed me him skateboarding with his like 45-year-old brother on a skate ramp in Australia, like a big one.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? Dude, and you work at an analytics company? Yeah. What the fuck are you doing, bro?
You know what I see people, like whenever I hear stories like that, like those guys got to figure it out, bro. They're like, man, I don't give a fuck if I work at an analytics company. That's just my job. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know, whatever. It's my job. I'd love to put effort into whatever, but like they do shit that makes them happy outside of that. You know what I mean? I think that's what, not everyone's like that, but I think when I see people like that, like I'm like, this guy's got to fucking figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah. When people stop thinking like, this idea of being passionate about your work. Yeah. I think you're passionate to an extent. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I think people don't realize that it's a spectrum. Yeah. You can be passionate, and you got to be passionate to a point where you can tolerate it. Yeah. To a point where you like how much you work compared to how much you get paid. Yeah. But then past that, everything else is free play. Yeah. Find out what you want to do with it. Don't just sit at home, try to recover from work. Yeah. That's what I like, you know, that's why I do all this shit that I want to do. I do this, I do that, you know what I mean? I grow weed, I fucking I fight. And like, because life's too short, bro. Yeah. Like literally. Because I think about how good I want to get at certain things. And I think about how much time I have to do that. And I'm like, well, if I don't allocate at least 4 hours a week to this, because I mapped it out. That's what the boards are for. I mapped out, like, what do I want to do this year? How much time do I have to spend on it? How do I break it down and then break it down as a tracker on the bottom? Like, how many hours do I have to spend? How many sessions do I have to do to get to the point that I want to get to? And then I'm like, oh, okay, wait, shit, I can't waste a minute.
Yeah.
I can't waste a minute, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I think. That's why I'm like, what are these Karens doing?
Yeah.
What are these guys doing if they're like not focusing on their own lives and getting shit done? Because as you get older, when you're young, people are like, you're full of potential. Man, you're so good at this. You could probably do this as a job. You could do this as a job. You could do this. As you get older, every single one of your options disappear. And that's what your parents tell you all the time. Like, your options are going to dissipate. You want to start with as many options as you can. Yeah. But that's not true, man. I think it's like, you got to figure out quickly what you like.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way to success. What do you like? What do you want to do? And what's the vision for your life?
Yeah.
As you get older, like, do you want to spend 6 hours a day surfing?
Yeah.
That kind of shit. That's what I think is success. And I'm glad that I figured it out now, and I'm starting to figure it out. And I haven't figured it out. I'm starting to figure it out now, but man, a lot of people, I think they go by and think I'm going to have potential forever. You don't.
That's the scary thing. I think that's the scary thing. You think that you will have energy and just fucking do what you want to do forever, but you don't. Yeah, honestly, man, I've been thinking about the same thing a lot. But you're right. I think you're right in a lot of ways, like especially with the extent that you can take your job, your career, whatever, as like your purpose or whatever. Fuck, you're right, man. Life is too short. It's hard to I feel it's hard to take the first step. That's the hardest part, I think. Like you find something new and you're like, should I? For me, that's the hardest step. Just taking the first step. And
it is, bro.
Yeah. Or taking the first step and then staying consistent with whatever it is and being like, this is something, and it's not just the passing fancy. It's like, this is something that really, drives me, motivates me. Like, I like what's something that I really like and want to improve at. It's like that, like, that sort of saying was like, where it's like, you have to do one thing, you become good at one thing, that's like ignites like your creativity, and like you have to become good at one thing that keeps you physically fit, and then you become really good at one thing that makes you money. And those are the three things that you should put those are the three passions or pursuits you should have. So like a creative one, a physical one, and then like a financial one.
That's a good system.
And when you like find the culmination of all those three things, that's your passion.
That's your purpose. Yeah.
That's your purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
But your culmination of all those three things might be, I'm going to do all these three things. It doesn't have to necessarily be like, I'm a skateboarder, so I'm going to be a pro skateboarder and sell skateboards.
Yeah.
That way I have, or like design skateboards, and that way that's all three.
Yeah.
But those are the people you really admire, right? Like,
that's fucking true.
To take skateboarding, like Tony Hawk, for example.
Yeah.
Like, he's a pro skateboarder, but he also designs and sells skateboards, and that's obviously his passion in life. And I think that's why we admire athletes and stuff so much, because those are people that are hitting those three things, right? Like, artistically, like, they have to have so much creativity. Like, their game, their pursuit, crafting their game, that's their thing. And then they can get paid from it.
And they're at their peak.
And they're at their peak physicality.
Yeah.
Which is why I think... That's why I admire athletes so much. I'm sure that's why most people do as well.
No, it's such a pure form of what you just said, like those three factors. It's such a pure form of that. So I get it. And it's just, it's because of that kind of, because we're social creatures and we give that credit, right? And having all three in one go is just, I don't think that's the only way we should be able to give credit.
No way. I mean, those are the people that are truly lucky and truly blessed, of course.
Yeah.
But sure.
But like effort-wise, people who spread their time between three things that they're doing really hard, that should be fucking respected, 100%,
bro. 100%.
Because I look at this, like, I think about it myself, and I'm like, I'm not that. When I go to my MMA gym and I see guys who are good fighters, right? And I'm like, fuck, that guy's got skills. Yeah. And then I find out that this guy does it like full time, and he's like a tradie on the side that works 20 hours a week. My respect for that drops. And that's where like Conor McGregor and stuff are, right? They're like want to be pro fighters and they're good at it. and they're smashing it out and they're at 2 sessions a day. I get it. It's cool. But you can only do that because you're not running a full professional career. But then I see a guy like who I know, like from the job title, they have a fucking demanding job. They have 3 kids at home. You know, they have like skills to a certain extent.
Yeah.
In MMA, I'm like, whoa,
yeah.
That guy's got it figured out.
Yeah.
That guy knows how to spend his time wisely.
Yeah.
He's killing it in all 3 areas. That's when I start to respect someone. Like, I'm like, oh wow, that's like, from my perspective, because I'm in that role, I respect that a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I think people should start shifting the value system a bit.
Yeah.
And go like living in an ordinary life.
This is what I think it comes back to, bro. Like in terms of, like what's told to you, and like what narrative is told to you in terms of having success in this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
It's so broad that I sort of understand why it's not like people don't tell you, but like really, someone needs to go out and tell people like just do what you like really makes you happy. I'm sure people do tell people that, but like just go find some shit that you like doing, and try like put effort into it hard.
Yeah, but you know what's confusing about that message is like I think a lot of people don't really know what it's like to be happy.
Yeah,
I don't think they know what like because when I realize. From my perspective as a dude, I think people are trying to categorize, like people try to categorize too broadly and say every person feels happy in this way. This is what happiness is, when you feel this elation. But from my perspective, people fall into a lot of different categories. And as a dude, particularly, we feel satisfied when we do shit that's hard. Right?
Yeah.
When there's a purpose behind, like the purpose comes from difficulty. We need to be challenged. If it's us sitting on our ass doing jack shit all day, you don't feel like a man. You don't feel like a dude. Traditionally, these are red pill dudes. I don't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? But from my perspective, I need to grind. I need to feel like I'm putting in effort and work.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like as a woman who's like a traditional woman, like my partner, she loves kids. She loves like organizing things at home. She loves cleaning, you know, that kind of stuff, and like creating a home environment. If I try to match what her purpose is and my purpose is, and I try to give her advice, she tries to give me advice on what I should be doing and what happiness is. Yeah. That's when falls apart, because you get confused. You're like, oh, I should be happy while doing this, but why am I not happy? I don't really know what happiness is then. Yeah. What is happiness? And then you start like, that's when you start going off. You know, I don't think people are taught what it means to feel satisfied. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be. Yeah, I think our current culture sort of fucks that up for people, bro. Like.
So homogenized, bro.
It's way too homogenized. Like, you should feel like this, and you should do this, and you should do this. And the worst part is, and this is the worst part of the culture, is that when people stop feeling like that, they start feeling scared and combative. Whereas really, like, okay, you don't feel it, then fucking figure it out. Yeah. Figure it out. Yeah. You have a brain. You can figure it out. It's not beyond the realm of possibility for people to figure it out. And don't get me wrong, I struggle with the same thing, right? And we're all trying to go through it and make sense of it all. But yeah, I think when you lose sight of doing the things that you have to have these pursuits. You have to have things that you're trying to do and achieve, and some type of mountain to climb, and you have to enjoy climbing the mountain as well. If you just, like you said, just sitting your ass doing nothing, it becomes so easy to get that validation by proxy, by telling someone else how to do this, or listening to someone else about how to do your shit. Yeah. It's a very easy trap to fall into. I think it's the easiest trap to fall into, because the vast, vast majority of people fall into it. So, yeah, it's just important to find a way. Like, I like what you've got here. Yeah. And I think that's a good way to keep yourself accountable, right? And Yeah. You know, there's like basic principles that you follow, right? That you need to follow, that if you don't follow them, things sort of spiral out of control quite quickly. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, I just try and find ways to try and remind myself of that. But it is very difficult. It's a painful process at times. Yeah, very easy to say, very hard to consistently do.
100%, bro. No, I completely agree with you. And it's more like when I say it, I'm kind of just validating it to myself that like, dude, 100%. Me too. Is this crazy, or am I like, you know, when I say things to you, I'm thinking, you know, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but this is how I think.
Yeah.
It's that being that vulnerable. And I think this is the thing. This is what I'm talking about, feedback, bro. Like, when do we, like, I know we use this excuse to have a podcast, talk about this stuff, but like, this is stuff we should be talking about all the time anyway.
I agree.
Yeah. Like, why are we not just having the conversation candidly, going, oh, bro, I feel this way. This is so, no. This is crazy. Like, why do we have to like hide, you know, what we're thinking?
Yeah. It's weird because when I did the session a couple of days ago, it was oddly therapeutic. Yeah. Not only to talk, but also to listen. Say like, okay, this is what's really going through someone's head about a lot of things. And yeah, it is an interesting question. I mean, this is the same principle. Like, why do we even pay for therapy?
Yeah.
Are we that disconnected in community and in ourselves that we have to go? And I think maybe the thing is, yes, like the way that we're conditioned now as humans is just to be as efficient as possible in all elements of our lives, except no one has figured out an efficient way to take care of your own mental health. So that's why we have therapists.
Yeah. But well, maybe that's the most efficient way to take care of
I mean, but self-efficacy. There's no self, like for a lot of cases, there's no self. But under the same token, maybe it's more difficult. Like, we pay people to train us as well, right? We have personal trainers. We have fucking doctors, and we have other people that help us go through stuff. True. But it's also like, for something that seems from the outside as basic as having a conversation, it's actually remarkably difficult these days. Because of the pressure.
Yeah. The pressure to appear a certain way, the pressure to impress.
Yeah. The pressure just to live in. Yeah. Yeah. With the way we do now. You can't really falter.
No, you have to be certain at all points. Like, something that's oversold these days, I think, is confidence. Bro, yes. A crazy amount of confidence makes a fascist leader. You know what I mean? Yeah. A crazy amount of confidence makes a sociopath, a psychopath. Yeah. Guys, like, we're rewarding crazy confidence. You shouldn't be crazy confident. No, it's stupid. You should never be crazy confident about, like, stupid shit.
No. And we don't... We laugh at quiet confidence. Or we mistrust quiet confidence. When someone doesn't behave exactly as we want them to, just like the person you were talking about, the music teacher that wore a seatbelt. Yeah. We pay that out. That motherfucker is confident as a motherfucker. Yeah. Because he doesn't care, right? Yeah. But as soon as we latch onto that as humans, we see that as a target. Like, this person doesn't live by our insecurities. And I think that's what we're so afraid of. We were really afraid of being quietly confident, because it means that we have to probably endure more than someone that's outwardly brash. And even people that are outwardly brash also get tested. It's not like they don't. But being outwardly brash and outwardly confident also has the high risk that you'll start believing your own bullshit. Yeah. You'll start believing your own hype. I was thinking about that on the drive over here. I was like, I think like the real tell of a really mature mind is someone that's able to be completely honest with themselves, but also able to, you know, be honest about the fact they're putting up a front with other people, or they're okay to tell lies for other people's sakes. You know? It's very difficult to separate those two. I can't be honest with me and lie to you. If I have to be honest with you, if I have to be honest with me, I have to be honest with you. Yeah. But it's hard to be like, You know, I want to be honest, because then there's the other risk. Like if I'm honest with myself, but I'm lying to you, there's also a chance I can be fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
Because then I can be like, yeah, I'm just gonna play this guy for this, that, and well, he's a moron.
That's what cognitive dissonance is, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're just like, 100%. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that's an interesting thing, bro. Like being able to be two different types of people, to yourself and to other people, bro. I find myself lying to people. And I think the tell of that is that you stop feeling guilty when you lie to people, right? And that's dangerous.
That's very dangerous.
That's very, very dangerous. Because I'll tell people, but I have my own value system of going, it's okay to lie to people in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
And I think that is a very grey line, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think you have to be very like specific and clear. Because I often think to myself, like, I know for myself personally, I don't feel guilt and shame like other people. I feel embarrassment, but I don't feel like guilt and shame traditionally like other people. So I often have to say to myself, like,
what do you mean by that? What do you mean you don't feel guilt and shame?
Like I don't know. I think like I'm like, I think I would consider myself a person that I would have sociopathic tendencies. Maybe not like as far as sociopathic, like not with malice, but I definitely have things where like I won't think of something else, and it won't occur to me that I should have thought of that.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't
like
know
empathetic shit.
Empathy, yeah. So empathy isn't something that I think comes naturally to me. So to build on that, going on to your point, I try to set up quite strict criteria for what. Okay. So I don't know if that's like
it's a rule system.
If it's a rule system, if it's a maturity thing. I definitely have friends that, you know, they feel it. And they'll be like to me, like, oh, you will be discussing it. And like, they'll naturally feel how another person's feeling. But I rarely get that. Like, I don't, I have to really break it down and analyze it in my head before I can get to a state where I'm like, okay, they felt this because of this, because of this, because of this, because of this.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas I definitely know other people, and this is just me, and I don't think I'm alone in this. I think there's probably other people that also, you know, have built up this way of interacting and breaking down situations.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's useful for everyone to do that. You know?
I think, we all do that in a certain way or shape or form. And it doesn't need to be, I don't think it needs to be in an emotional way. It can also be in a practical way, right? Like I mean, I'm talking about like logical stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, like, from my perspective, something that like I think is similar is I didn't ever used to plan shit. Yeah. But now I'm like, for example, I'm going to like the shopping center. Yeah. Like, I never used to be someone who... I'll just rock up to the shopping center. I don't even plan a day I'm going to go grocery shopping or whatever. Yeah. But now I'm like, okay, what do I have? Like, my grocery bags, my mask, this. And I need this all to get in the car and leave. And then pack my shit. But I think that's the same thing, bro. Like, from your concept of, like, I need to make sure that I've checked this off when I'm speaking to someone. Mm-hmm. Did they look away? Did they feel upset when I said this? And then I can say this. Mm-hmm. And then I can, you know, gauge this question. You know what I mean? I think that's a normal rule system. I don't think that, like, I don't think that you lack empathy and that you have sociopathic tendencies, because I think that's the only way people only portray it in a negative light. But I feel like a lot of dudes are like that because it's called being disagreeable, I think. Well, that's what like Jordan Peterson calls it, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the fact that dudes, if you want to get shit done and you want to focus on certain tasks and you need to elevate your thought into certain areas, then you can't take into consideration people's feedback as well. You know? I just don't think that you can take in that much stimulus at one time. So when I see people like that, and I think this is a common stereotype, we hear it with programmers, we hear it with, savants in certain areas. You can't register it in certain areas. You know what I mean? I think maybe that's what you're just thinking in different areas. You're focusing on different things.
I think there's a lot of that's truth. Well, a lot of, especially men, but also females. You get so focused on what's in front of you that you lose sight of everything else.
Yeah.
But I think once you trust that side of your brain very, very wholeheartedly above anything else, it becomes quite hard to
switch it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, because you're always trying to solve problems, you know?
Yeah.
If you're trying to solve problems all day, you know, emotions don't necessarily correlate with the solution. And I think
part of me likes that.
Yeah, exactly.
A large part of me likes that. Yeah, it's exactly. It's unencumbered.
Yeah. It's the most freeing way to think.
Yeah, exactly. And I know definitely, you know, going back to the sort of male perspective, one thing I'm realizing is that as a male, you want to be free.
Yes.
Like there's something about it inside of you that freedom really calls to you. Yeah, which is...
That's crazy, because you know what...
Interesting thing. I never thought that about myself.
Yeah,
until recently, I'm like, wow. Like that's a big part of me. That's
literally what I've been thinking about last 2 weeks, bro.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I was telling my girlfriend that...
Yeah.
The next tattoo I get is going to be a fucking fat eagle across my chest. And she was like, that is the most fucking basic bitch tattoo you could ever get.
Maybe where she's from. Not
here. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Where you're from, that's basic as fuck. From here, that's just like no one gets that shit.
Yeah.
But it made me second take on it anyway.
Yeah.
I
think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to get a fat eagle because... eagles are like the biggest symbol of freedom. Yeah. Like, what do you like when you feel free? What does your body do?
Fly.
You fucking fling your arms open. You want to fly and shit.
Yeah, the motherfuckers fly wherever they want.
Yeah.
See shit from 4 miles away. Like, you know what? I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat that.
I'm gonna
eat that.
I'm gonna eat that now.
And I'm gonna burn up the calories flying for the next 3-4 hours.
It's not like us peasants. Like we see the tip of a mountain and we go, I'm a walk up there for 17 hours. Sydney. You be a bird. You up there.
I did it. Yeah, birds can do whatever the fuck they want, bro.
That's so true, bro. That freedom thing, man, is so true. I just like every word that kind of elicits a reaction out of me has something to do with freedom these days. And I thought to myself for the longest time, like, what is my actual purpose? And like writing up this board, I was thinking about it, man. I was like, oh, fuck. Like financial freedom is like so crazy to me. But financial freedom, like money, is a store of energy. From my perspective, right? Like,
bro, I've literally had this same conversation.
Oh, really?
I agree with you 100%. Yeah.
It's a store of energy, so it gives you any ability to do anything you want. It's not necessarily, it's not the cash that appeals to me. It's the fact that I can do anything I want at that point. Yeah. And I probably want to do something hard anyway. Yeah. I probably want to work. I want to put an effort. I want to do the work, but I'll get to do it my way. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Man, 100%, man. That's crazy that we're thinking along the same lines. Yeah. Because like this is what I mean, man.
That's what I mean. Like we want to get to a point in society where one money equals 1 unit of energy is standardized. We don't have to fuck around with currencies. We don't have to fuck around with fucking taxes. None of that should matter. At a certain point, we need to evolve beyond needing that as a as a race. Because, and I was talking about this yesterday, and as a matter of fact, I was like, at some point, and I heard it, I'm not sure, I haven't fact checked this, but at some point, the merchant class of big civilizations were like, okay, I can't be carrying gold around. I'm going to go to the king and say, hey, king, give you all this gold, but you give me a certificate saying X, right? And that means that I can come start trading on these certificates and I don't have to carry all this shit around. And from there to now, we've got to like all these different measures of exchange. We got fucking people are like, all right, you know what, we'll just give you little bits of silver and gold, but then, oh wait, they can be counterfeited, they can be fucking, you know, I can't go from fucking Egypt and then go over to Sicily and use the same gold, so we need some other method.
And that's fiat currencies now.
And then, and then to a certain point, we got to paper currency, and then paper currency is all good because it's backed by gold, right? And then at a certain point, they're like, you know what, there's not enough fucking gold in the world to deal with all the money that we're fucking printing. So let's get rid of that. Instead, we'll have petrocurrency, where all the fucking, all the petrol in the world is paid for by the same currency. Therefore, that currency has value, right? And the rest of the currencies base their value on that currency. And now we've gotten past that, and we're starting in this cryptocurrency thing, where it's like, you know what? Instead of like all the money that all those paper currency that you once had, that's all been digitalized, right? Now it's ones and zeros. And so instead of having a digital currency, which is already there, right? We already have cryptocurrency, not in the strict sense of blockchain-based cryptocurrency, right? But we've got digital currency in that.
Centralized.
My Aussie dollar is now showed on a screen, and it's redeemable for $1 paper currency, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting past that now, where we've got basically software and technology that can independently verify. Because
you have
that this. I have,
because you own 100 Bitcoin.
Yeah, because the alternative of that is what? That I have $1 in my Combank account, and my $1 is redeemable for, and I can take that out, and then that's got the paper currency's got all this verifiable shit on it, right? Like the watermark, the film, the fucking weight, the dimensions. Yeah. If you take all that out, you replace it with an algorithm.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, everything has to switch to that, right? Like
it's even more secure.
Even more secure. It's even more.
Yeah.
And
it's more transferable. It's more liquid. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do so much more with it. It's more. It's easier to get insight on that as well, right? Like imagine if we've got like fucking dozens of servers carrying every single transaction that's happened with the Aussie dollar. Imagine how much insight we'd have into our economy, right? Like we know exactly what wages were being paid, exactly what taxes are going to be paid, exactly where money's being spent, exactly where technology is getting good returns. Right now, that's all. It's all there's a medium in between that, which isn't trustworthy.
Yeah, which is getting lost. Yeah.
So anyway, that's the future of currencies. I see it. I think like it's any smart government will be like, hey, you put 10% into your defense, or like you put 10% into your education, you get 8% back. But I get 10% in and I get 10% back every single time, because I can see exactly where every single dollar is going, right? And I can see how it's being spent, because it's all kept on this one ledger of exchange. I think like, I haven't done that much research into crypto, but just that as a use case is already to me fucking insane. No one has been able to do that.
No.
Ever in history.
It's wild, bro.
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting. I've never thought of it from that perspective. And I think that's what's being lost on society these days. And I think this is interesting because who was it? Bill Gates who said this. He's like, people always overestimate technology and what it can achieve in 2 years, but they always underestimate what it can do in 10 years. And I think that's so true. I'm like Bitcoin, all that cryptocurrency, it's always been a phase, it's always been hyped and whatnot. And if you don't look into it at a deep level, you don't really understand the depths of what it can achieve. Right now, it's potential that we're looking at again. Right. And the thing is, the potential is shared across all these other coins that have been created, and there's just a lot of shit in there as well. And a lot of people are kind of hesitant because they're going to get burnt on putting it into the wrong thing. Yeah. But overarching, I think you're right. I think there's going to be fucking mass adoption of this stuff.
Yeah. The use cases, I think, for like people control is just too high. Like people, like utility for people, but also more power to people to do shit that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. Yeah. That's exactly what the internet did, right? Like it democratized us in a way. Like you can't get away with the same shit you could 50 years ago because of the internet. You know what I mean? And I think crypto will do the same thing, but for money. And crypto did it for media, right? Crypto did it for information. Internet did it for information. But crypto will do the same thing for our finances, for our record keeping, And it's a massive part of society. Like, record keeping is huge. If you don't have a fucking Medicare number or health insurance number, bank account number, all these things that you just rely on day to day, don't even think about. Yeah. If all that's not stored securely and dealt with properly, you're fucked. Yeah, you're fucked.
You don't exist as a person.
Yeah.
Fucking piss, bro.
Me too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.